the gladiator mentality, and people look at us like, okay, really? Or, yeah, really.
All right, let's do this. Diamond Envy Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McComas. Diamond Envy, as always, brought to you by Cavens Group. Check them out, cavensgroup.com. Not great. Oh boy. Today was not great for the OU softball team. They lose to Florida 9-3 in OKC after a day that, you were just hoping that you could get the game in. They did get the game in after a 3-hour delay, and it just, for whatever reason, from the start of that game, you just had a bad feeling. And I don't know about the rest of you, whether you were watching it on TV or you were actually at the game. I just felt the entire game like, where's the energy? Where's the energy from this team? Where's the energy from this crowd? And I guess I feel that way because it's easy to tell when the energy is there for an OU softball team. I mean, they kind of wear their emotions on their sleeve, right? So even though I wasn't at the game today, I could just kind of feel that the energy just wasn't really there compared to past games. I don't know the reason for that. I don't know if it was because of the delay or because the game was there during the day. On a Monday, I'm not real sure, but the energy really didn't seem to be there until it was kind of too late. Like in the fifth inning, they tried to really get pumped up after some walks and some different things, but that just wasn't OU's day. That was far from their best softball, and they just got really outplayed. And give Florida a lot of credit today because Florida deserves a lot of credit. Florida played a fantastic softball game. And all the good things that Florida did today, OU did not. Florida came up with the big hit time and time again. OU did not. Florida came up with the big pitches in this game. OU did not. And, one of my big takeaways from Saturday's win over UCLA as you kind of sit back yesterday and process what had happened throughout the first two games, I was really impressed after the first two games from this OU team that, man, think of how they've gotten to this point on Monday afternoon. They've won a game behind a dominant defensive performance, clearly what Kelly Maxwell did against UCLA, and they've won a game because of their offense and defense in the same game. Like the offense and the defense against Duke were the two major storylines there. So you've won two games so far this tournament. You did one with pitching. You did the other with offense and fantastic defense. They didn't do any of those things today. They didn't do any of those things. The offense left 10 runners on base today. The pitching just wasn't great from the get-go. The defense was, we'll talk about it. They didn't have any errors in the column. I don't think that tells the entire story. Riley Boone makes a full extension attempt with 2 outs and nobody on, and it gets all the way to the wall and it ends up being an inside the park home run. And not that I've lost faith, okay, and we'll get to tomorrow's game for sure, just as we kind of diagnose this one. I just don't feel like OU did a lot of things well today. Offense, defense, in the circle, base running was a real issue and maybe the biggest moment of this game. And as you walk away from that one, that's what's most surprising is we've seen games this year where OU didn't win or OU played a lot closer game than we thought. But you could almost always, in some of those instances, point back to, well, this wasn't all that good, but at least this was there. At least the defense in this game was good. At least the offense was solid in this one. Not a whole lot to hang your hat on today. And I'm hoping this team bounces back in a big way tomorrow. They're going to have to if we're talking about another national championship. And to be fair, they have. The senior class has always bounced back in these spots, but it's got to look like a much different team tomorrow than what it did today because it didn't do a whole lot right. It didn't have a whole lot of energy today. That's just not the OU softball team that we've been accustomed to seeing. So just really, really surprised. And like, what was the big moment today? What was the big play of the game? Well, you guys got thoughts. Drop them in the comments here as I'm broadcasting live on YouTube, as I'm going to do after every single game here this postseason. And of course, we're going to have some awesome off-season content as well. But I thought the biggest moment of the game today actually came in the top of the second inning. Now, I'm not blaming this loss on Cassidy Pickering. Far from it. I don't think Cassidy Pickering was the reason that OU got totally outplayed today and lost 9-3. I don't think that. And in no way does one base running mistake totally changed my opinion of what Cassidy Pickering is as a player and what she's going to be here moving forward in her career. But I think the biggest play today was in the top of the second inning. Cassidy Pickering was at third base, less than 2 outs. Riley Boone did exactly what Riley Boone needed to do. She hit a ball hard to the outfield in the gap. That's got to be a run. That's a heck of a play by the center fielder, but that's got to be a run. And I know some, because I'm trying to do the radio show, same time watching the game. I'm taking notes. Here are the notes for you here if you care to see them. Like chicken scratch here. Like trying to take notes, but also trying to do a 4-hour radio show as well. So I'm not able to, diagnose every single thing that's going on. Some were critical of Patty that she sent her on that play. And maybe those of you that were at the game or watched the TV broadcast with the sound on will back Cassidy Pickering up on that Patty sent her home on that. But as a player that's played as much softball as Pickering has, she's got to know in that spot. You got to tag up. Your foot's got to be on the third base bag right when the center fielder makes contact with the ball. Because here's the deal. If she catches the ball, you're still going to easily score. If the ball gets past her, you're still going to easily score on that. So there's really no reason to be halfway down the line on that play, because regardless of the outcome, she catches it or the ball gets to the wall, you're going to score easily on that play. So again, that wasn't the single reason that OU lost this game today. OU lost this game today because it wasn't really good in any phase of the game. But that really felt like a big momentum changer. You're trying to get a run across and tie this game. And once you didn't do that and Florida came up with the big defensive play and ended up holding you scoreless in the top of the second inning, that was a big momentum shift in the Gators dugout. So, I mean, things like that just can't happen in this tournament if this team wants to go win a national championship. I think that goes without saying. But, man, Florida was awesome today, and you just got to give them all the credit in the world for that. Skylar Wallace hit 2 bombs. Of course, Jocelyn Erickson hit a bomb as well. But my main issue, I guess my main complaint today is not even about the base running mistake, though I do think it was the biggest moment in the game. My biggest complaint from today's game, guys, is this. You cannot leave 10 runners on base against a good softball team. You can't do it. It can't happen. And for as good as Rothrock was in the circle from Florida, she gave you some gifts and she gave you some opportunities. She had, 10? Did she have 7 walks today? I think Rothrock had 7 walks in the game today. Let me go try and pull up the stats. That's a lot of walks, man. Like, she had a ton of walks. OU had a ton of free passes. And in 5 innings today, OU got the leadoff runner on base. So getting runners on base, as good as Rothrock was, she threw 131 pitches today. You got on base. That wasn't the issue. But the main complaint of the offense this year has been, well, where's the big hit like it's been in previous years? Where's the clutch hit like it's been in previous years? Why is this offense struggling at times to come up with big hits with runners in scoring position? I don't know. I think that it's been maybe the main complaint of this team so far this year. But today it was pretty apparent. Like that cannot be the case here moving forward. And that's been the case the past 2 games, and Kelly Maxwell, I think, masked that a little bit with how great she was in the circle on Saturday, but 10 runners left on base. And 5 of the 7 innings, you got the leadoff runner on. That can't happen, guys. So I know that people had opinions of Nicole May. Was not a great start today. And I'm not for a second going to sit in here and defend any of the pitchers, or mostly Deal and May, that were out there today, and try to tell you that those 2 starts or those 2 appearances by those 2 players were any better than what the stat line looks like. I mean, it just wasn't Nicole May's best moment for sure. But my main complaint today is the offense. The offense left you hanging. The offense had the opportunity to get the momentum back in the top of the second inning. The offense had time and time again opportunities to maybe get back in this game, and it just never happened. Like, I look at the top of the 6th as a prime example today. You're down 9-3. It's going to be really difficult to come back from a 6-run deficit against that Florida team in the top of the 6th. But you got 2 on and nobody out. 2 on, nobody out. Crowd's starting to come alive. Everyone's like, all right, here we go. Here's our chance to get back in this game. Here we go. Everyone's starting to finally come alive. And you don't do anything to it. And you don't even get any runs. So it's not just the fact that they had 2 on, nobody out and didn't end up tying the game or anything crazy like that. They didn't end up even getting a run. There's just so many times where it looks like, okay, the leadoff runner gets on, let's do something with it. And then you have a weak fly out to the shortstop or weak ground ball back to the pitcher. Just disappointing, I think, offensively today, what happened with runners in scoring position. All right, we got some comments here on YouTube Live. Let's get to those. Tyler McComas on YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe there if you haven't already. It's much appreciated. Jeremy Brennan says, I was really surprised by May. I really felt she would have had a big postseason contribution in this run. Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm surprised today too, Jeremy, because I think she's had a nice contribution to the postseason run thus far. She had 2 wins in the Norman Regional. She started the first game this postseason and pitched well, and she started the other game against Oregon. Nicole May, OU played 3 games in the Norman Regional. Nicole May got the win in 2 of those. And remember, she came in relief against Texas in that Big 12 tournament championship, and she pitched really well in that game as well. So Nicole May had pitched well. I mean, her best run of the season for the past 2.5, 3 weeks, but it just wasn't good today. I mean, that wasn't the Nicole May that we've seen this postseason. So I'm with you, Jeremy. I was a little bit surprised by that. She just gives you 2 innings today, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. You're going to need her at some point if you make it to the championship series, I think, because now that you have to play tomorrow, and if you win, you got to turn around and play whoever in the championship series. I don't know if Kelly Maxwell, even though she is the ace right now, can pitch that many consecutive days in a row. So you're probably going to need Nicole May again or Kirsten Deal, but clearly they're going to have to be a lot better. Nicole May, 2 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Kirsten Deal, 3 2/3, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So not great numbers there. Bird Brain, I appreciate that. Hardest working man in the biz. Man just got off work. Just got done doing a 4-hour radio show. Come in here to the conference room at the radio station, do this. But I love doing YouTube streams. I think it's so much fun. Even talking about a loss, which sucks. I hate that. Hopefully we're not doing this tomorrow, talking about a loss. It's more of a celebration. But I do appreciate it. I love doing this because you guys are in here commenting, giving your thoughts. I'm big fan of that. Patty owned up to sending Pickering for no reason. Still bad base running. Okay, thank you for that. And this one just says, let's just keep May in the reliever role. Yeah. Well, and here's what I think the past 2 games have told us, if we didn't know this already. If there was any doubt on who the ace was going into this postseason run, the last 2 games have confirmed it. Kelly Maxwell is your best option in the circle, and guys, I don't really think it's all that close. So that's probably where we'll see Nicole May here moving forward. Now here's the tricky thing. And not playing this second game tonight really kind of throws things off because that day off had been such an advantage to you so far, during this run in the postseason. And I can't really decide, guys. I don't know if not playing the second game right after is an advantage or a disadvantage to OU. I don't really know, and we may not have that answer, and we're probably not going to care about that if they end up winning tomorrow. I can't really decide my opinion on that one, to be honest with you. The advantage is, well, maybe they can take a deep breath. Maybe the fans can take a deep breath, and let's all come back tomorrow with a lot more energy than we came in with today. The disadvantage is, well, Kelly Maxwell is going to start tomorrow, just like she was going to tonight, and she doesn't have that day in between, if you win, of course, before the championship series. So now, if you win tomorrow, you're asking Kelly Maxwell to start and throw a lot of innings tomorrow, bounce back and start again on Wednesday, on Thursday, and maybe even potentially on Friday. That's 4 consecutive days where Nicole May would have, Kelly Maxwell would have to pitch and start. That's why I think that, yes, I agree that maybe May should be in the reliever role, but can you start Kelly Maxwell for 4 consecutive days if that's what you need? maybe you can. I mean, it's her last run at it. Maybe she'll do it. We've seen some pitchers in the past really put the team on their back in the circle. I think of Jordy Ball last year. I think if G. Juarez did something pretty similar a couple of years ago, but it's a tough ask for sure. It's a tough ask for sure. Jeremy Brandon says Rothrock getting rest is concerning. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. 131 pitches today, and if you turn around right after and play, I don't know if she starts. I don't know if she comes in relief, but she's not throwing 131 more pitches. So she's going to have a night to kind of rest and recover and see what happens tomorrow. So, yeah. And we'll see. Recording, what is this, 6:18 Central Time? Last I heard, they're not going to announce the game time for tomorrow until after this Texas-Stanford game. So I guess the game tomorrow could be at 6 p.m. for TV purposes. And that gives her over a full 24 hours to rest and come back tomorrow. So it's a fair point. Florida could get some effective innings from Rothrock tomorrow, whereas they would have gotten 0 in a second game today. I think you guys are convincing me that maybe this isn't the best thing, that they just didn't turn around and play tomorrow. Tyler, do you have any thoughts on why the timely hits haven't materialized as much this season? I have a theory. I don't know if it's a good one or not. Because it's the most puzzling thing that has happened this year. Just because we have 3 years, like a lot longer for this program, but just players in this team, we have 3 years of evidence of this team always coming through in the clutch. Like I can name individual players. Kinsey Hansen against Clemson last year in the Super Regional. With 2 strikes, she hits the 3-run home run. I mean, Jada's countless. Tiare's countless. I think Tiare, was it Jada or Tiare had a game winner against Texas last year, that Saturday game that was so epic when OU looked dead to rights. I mean, I could just point to anyone and probably show you multiple instances where they've had the big hit. My theory and my guess is pressing way too much, trying to be the hero, trying to hit the long ball instead of just trying to square the ball up and hit somewhere hard. I don't know if it's a great theory. I think Patty's talked about it, that maybe they're pressing too much. That's what I would guess. I mean, it is what it comes down to, which makes it even more strange that they're pressing when they've been there and done that so many times. But I mean, that's my guess. I'd like to hear other theories out there as to why it's happened. Maxwell for the finals, maybe even Maxwell. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that as much as I'd like to see Kelly Maxwell as much as possible here moving forward, I don't know. I think someone else is going to have to start. Maybe it'd be best to win tomorrow. And I think rain's in the forecast. Like most days, rest of this week, you end up getting rained out one day and get a rest in between. But here's the deal. Like if Texas ends up losing tonight against Stanford, I think they're in a pretty similar situation. Now, maybe they feel better about some of their frontline starters, or they're 2 and 3 than OU does right now. I think you can definitely make that argument. Like Mac Morgan throwing a fantastic game. They had a freshman pitcher, game 1 against Stanford, that threw a one-hitter. I think Mac Morgan, their freshman pitcher, have thrown back-to-back one-hitters. So they probably feel better about their 2 and maybe even their 3. Sidlally, of course, is in there as well. So, yeah. I mean, Texas would have to burn another arm, which is nice, but I don't think I have to convince anyone listening to root for against Texas. I don't think I have to do that, but just obviously root against Texas tonight against Stanford. Number of deep flyouts this season supports your theory. Yeah, I just think maybe just trying to just hitting the ball hard somewhere. Nothing wrong with the ball in the gap. Just maybe trying to hit the home run in those spots. Kavon is pitching against Stanford again. Yeah, she was fantastic in that first game against Stanford. Complete game, one hitter, no earned run. She was good. Just some other things about this game. That was the first inside the park home run in the Women's College World Series in 10 years. And look, in no way am I going to tell Riley Boone to turn it down. Like, hey, play less aggressively. That's why Riley Boone is so great, because she plays aggressively. But probably the smart play on that one. 2 outs, nobody on. Just let it be a single, because you know who's at the plate. She's so fast that if that ball gets past you, it's probably going to be an inside the park home run. And it was. And that was a massive momentum shift. First inside the parker since 2014. Skylar Wallace hits the deep ball to right field, deep home run to right field after that. Jada Coleman and Tiare both hit one of the track at the top of the third, but they were both caught. It just wasn't your day. And it just wasn't your day. You just got thoroughly outplayed. Thoroughly outplayed. But tomorrow's another day. That's the great thing, guys. That's the great thing about winning the first two games. And that's why I said time and time again that Saturday game against UCLA was so important because Florida's got to turn around. They got to beat you tomorrow. It ain't going to be easy to turn around and beat Florida tomorrow, but it ain't going to be easy to turn around and beat Oklahoma again tomorrow. It's really, really not. So tomorrow's a new day. I've got confidence that it's going to look totally different, feel totally different, whether you're at the game or on television. I just got to think that we see or feel like, okay, the energy level feels different. I think everyone, sleep tonight, come back tomorrow, renewed focus. They got to get the big hits. They got to hit with runners in scoring position. And more than anything tomorrow, I know Kelly Maxwell will be a massive storyline tomorrow, what she does, or can she replicate the performance that she had against UCLA? Guys, she shouldn't have to. Like, the success or failure, in my opinion, for Kelly Maxwell should not be dictated on if, again, she can go out and throw a complete game with, 2 hits and 11 strikeouts. That shouldn't have to be the case. Kelly Maxwell should be able to go out tomorrow, give up 2 runs, and feel very comfortable that she's going to get the win in the circle. Because more than anything, the stat that I'll be looking at is runners left on base. That number today was 10, and they lost the game. And I can't remember off the top of my head what it was against UCLA, but I'm guessing it wasn't very good there either. If OU wins tomorrow, the numbers with runners left on base have to be down from 10 today. You got 7 walks. They gave you 7 walks. You earned those 7 walks, but 7 walks today, and you didn't do anything with it. You got the leadoff runner on more innings than not. Like, that's it. Got to come up clutch tomorrow. And they've had so many times before, but it's got to happen. Thank you for that, Jeremy. I appreciate that. And yeah, fast runner too. You just got to know the situation. Got to know the situation there. Am I missing anything else from these notes that I need to get to today? Alina Torres, that's just such a bummer. Hate having her bat out of the lineup. That's just, I don't love that. Yeah, just got to have the momentum tomorrow. Oh, one more thing. The umpires. I heard a lot of complaints about that. Yeah, it looked like it was pretty bad. I'm not going to sit here and use that as the reason why OU lost the game today. Like, I'm not going to go there. They got beat 9-3. They were thoroughly outplayed. I'm not for a second here going to say OU lost because of the umpires. It looked like they were pretty bad today. And hopefully they're a lot better tomorrow. Zone was small, but consistently small for both teams. Yeah, I mean, it's where you get in trouble is if it's really inconsistent, but it was inconsistently bad, I guess was the main story today. Hey, appreciate you guys jumping in. Not only joining the live stream, and if you don't want to comment, that's fine. I appreciate you watching it live, watching it on demand or whatever. But for those of you that comment, really interact, like I just love to hear your thoughts. I don't want to sit here and ramble on with my thoughts for 30 minutes. Like, you guys know this game. You guys know this team. You're just as passionate about this sport and about this team as I am. So thank you for hopping in the comments and always as contributing. 20-game NCAA tournament streak snapped. That was a record. Start a new record tomorrow. Boy, I really heard and felt a lot of panic today from the fan base. A lot of panic today from the fan base. Guys, calm down. Let's remember who we're talking about here. You got your ace going tomorrow. Just pitched the best game of her career. According to Patty, she was really free and loose, and hopefully she takes that in tomorrow. It's nerve-wracking being a loss away from ending your season. I get it. I'm not telling you not to be nervous. Hell, I'm nervous here on a Monday night talking about this, but they've always come through in this spot, and it doesn't guarantee that they will tomorrow. Just have the faith. Keep the faith. You're still alive in this thing. If you can win tomorrow, then you're 2 wins away from national championship. But there was a lot of panic today and got a lot of messages of, well, what are they going to do next year? What are they going to do in the circle? What are they going to do at catcher? What are they going to do at third base? What are they going to do at center field? I don't care about next year right now. I don't care. Well, let's worry about next year here on YouTube Live and the Diamond Envy podcast, all that. Let's worry about next year in like 2 or 3 weeks. And maybe not even then. Hopefully I'm still celebrating a national championship. But let's worry about that when we need to worry about that. Let's worry about tomorrow first. Well, I'm worrying if this team can bring the energy. I'm worrying if this team can hit with runners in scoring position. I got a lot of time. We got a lot of time this offseason to worry about who's next after the legendary senior class. I'm worried about tomorrow. Next year can wait till next year. It can wait till a month. But seriously, appreciate you guys as always. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Going to do a ton of content, ton of softball content, ton of football content as well. So keep it locked right here. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we got better news. We'll talk to you then. Good, bad, in between, whatever. We'll see you then.